Hey family, welcome back to my channel. Today it's a slightly different set. I'm on the road. We had to go fetch some stuff and it happened to coincide with when I was supposed to be recording, so I thought I would just do this here. So excuse the changing in light and the flashing in and out. I've got my phone on selfie mode and it might have an impact on how the recording looks. Nevertheless, I want to talk today about preparing for the new year. So before I do that, you know the drill. I can't believe we still need to talk about this. You have not subscribed yet? Thank you for liking. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. But I need you to subscribe. Please do. Having said that, we're talking today about preparing for a new year, preparing for the new year, because the preparation for 2020 is not the same as 2019 or 2018. The preparations cannot be the years. As the years are different, the preparations must also be different. So we're coming into 2020, and what is so significant is that 2020 is a new decade, people. It's not just a new year, it's a whole new decade. And it is a decade that is opened up by perfect vision. It's a decade opened up with the number 2020. You know, when you speak of 2020, you speak of 2020 vision. And they always say that hindsight is always in 2020 vision. You know, when you look retrospectively, you always see that which you should have seen and didn't see. 2020 is going to be that year in which everything is relatively clearer, depending on just how you prepared yourself to go in. I'm not sure if you're letting me through or not. Depending on how you prepared yourself to enter the year 2020. So there's just a few thoughts that I have in mind, and I'd like to share them. They may or may not work for you, but indulge me, please. Okay? So, one thing that people always do, straight or right, one thing that people always do in the beginning of a new year is, or at the end of a previous year as they prepare for a new year, is that they make resolutions. And if I talk about nothing else today, I want to talk about the fact that you should not make resolutions. Resolution coming from the word resolve. We resolve to do ABC. We have decided we are going to do ABC. There's a number of reasons that is not sustainable. Number one, because you don't hold tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen. So you cannot resolve and absolutely determine that this is what you're going to do. Number two, because even if you had some idea of what tomorrow may bring, you're not the only player. Because you don't live on an island. You're not living in isolation. So there are factors over and above what you think you know that you need to consider. The people you live with, the things that might happen, other people's plans, how they impact you, the people you're going to need to actualize these dreams of yours, and the fact that they may A, not be available, B, not be cooperative, C, just plain not be in the mood, you know what I mean? So you want to be careful in resolving with absolute determination that you're going to do A, B, C. And so if I'm saying do not make resolutions, then what is the alternative? I'd like to offer an alternative, which is to cast a vision. And you might say to me, well, that's the same thing. I'm drawing a vision as to what I'm going to do. No, it's actually not the same thing. Casting a vision is painting a picture, determining what something will look like. Not necessarily what you are going to do, but what the end result ought to look like. Now, there might be many routes in getting to that end result, which is why you have not said, I will do so and so. You know, there was a man in the Bible who woke up one day and was like, you know, tomorrow I'm going to get up, I'm going to build barns, I'm going to, and he was called a fool. You don't own tomorrow, so you can't plan tomorrow. But you can cast a vision. You can draw a picture of what you would like something to look like. And the benefit of drawing that picture is that when you have written down the vision or drawn the picture, articulated it, reduced it into a documented format, it is then much easier for those who you desire to run with you to picture what it is you are saying. I used to have a friend who was very good with numbers, and I'm very good, artistically. And one day I'll do some art with you. But I was a very creative person. Put numbers in front of me, we were not friends. And when I would begin to talk about things in color and demonstrate and describe the shapes and how they would, this person was just like, stop it, you're giving me a headache, it's not working, I don't understand. So you might not be getting the cooperation of those who are party to your plan on the basis purely of the fact that they don't see it. You're saying it, you're animated about it, but they don't see it. You need to reduce it into something people see. Because the minute you can see it, believe you me, you can do it. The fact that you have seen it means that in another realm, you have seen its reality. It's not all talk. The fact that you can see it means that in the realm of the not yet manifested, guys, I need to be careful here because there is load shedding, and so all the traffic lights are out and people are just taking their chances. As I was saying, when you've seen it, if you can see it in your mind's eye, then believe you me, you can see it in the physical. The other important thing about casting a vision is that you should not be casting just your vision. You should be casting a downloaded vision. So the most important thing that I left to this point to say is, number one, download a vision. After you've downloaded it, then you cast it or write it or document it or reduce it to a visible form for others to be able to see, and also for you to be able to always have a picture to look back at. Like, this, is it looking the same? Now, how do you download a vision? You download a vision primarily through prayer, through, I don't want to use the word meditation, but through engaging, because prayer is a two-way street, right? You can't just speak and then not be spoken to. Then that's not prayer. That's only one form of prayer. It's making a request, and it's not dialogue. It's not relationship prayer. It's almost like you're commanding, So at the beginning of a new year, it's really important that you go back to that place of intimacy with the one who owns you, owns time, and therefore owns the new year. And say to him, what exactly do you want me to be doing in this year? What do you want me to accomplish in this year? Because remember, a year is a collection of moments. It is a collection of moments in time, and all of that time is an asset that has been granted you as a seed or as an incubator for the seed that you will have. So you're given a seed, and that seed must operate within the timelines, within time frames. You cannot but reap when it's harvest time, and you cannot but plant when it's time to plant. So you've got a seed, but you must operate within the ambits of time. So time is an asset or a form of capital that has been given to you to manifest that seed that you've been given. And it was given to you or loaned to you. Time is loaned, you know that? We're here for just a moment, and we are on borrowed time. And so the person who's borrowed it to you is going to expect that you return it with interest. In other words, with a harvest of that seed that you planted. And so it makes the most sense to go back to this person and just say, how would you have me use this privilege of time that you've given to me? Many started January 2019. They're not here December 2019. Here I am. I've had the privilege of life. I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. And where there is life, there is hope. And so if you've given me this privilege, it must mean that I still have work to do for you. What would you have me do? How should I use it? Now, 2020, a beginning of a new decade, another year, it is a year within the grand scheme of your overall life's purpose, right? So all of your life, I want you to think of your entire life as this one big tapestry that's being woven, or this one big painting, artwork that's being done. And every year is another stroke, another stroke of the pen, another stroke of the paintbrush. It's another stroke of color. At the end of it all, when we look at everything collectively, there's got to be one beautiful picture painted. Now, if you're an artist, you would know that there's certain frameworks you must start with, certain structures you must start with, certain colors you start with, and then finish off with other colors. Whether it's you starting with the lighter colors and moving on to the darker colors. So all the various seasons of your life, I've come to another complicated intersection, so I might be distracted. So all these seasons of your life are akin to the various colors that you're painting per time, or the different strokes, or the different definition that you're now putting in your painting. Yeah, that guy should go first. Then this guy should have gone, but it's fine. Now I'm going to go. There we go. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, I need to know what this particular year is about, but I need to know what this year is about within the context of my overall life. If you don't have that kind of understanding, what will happen is that you will jump on every bandwagon that seems to be a good opportunity for 2020. Oh, 2020, they say everybody's doing tenders. Now we're going to join you doing tenders. 2020, everybody's opening a church. It seems to be the thing to do. You open a church. Everybody is starting some kind of business, hairdressing. You've got no clue about hairdressing, but you're like, you know what? I'll hire some girls. You start a hairdressing business. What is your overall life's purpose, dream, and vision? What are you sent here to do? What's your assignment? And with that in mind, you become very particular about how you spend your time, very particular about downloading the specifics for this particular year within the broader context of your whole life. So if you don't have a view of life in general, your life in general, your assignment, what you're called to do, I would say that's the starting point. How do you find out? Fasting and prayer. So you see these people at the beginning of a new year, and they are, doing a 7 days here, 21 days there, 40 days there. They're not cuckoos. They've not lost it. They're not trying to diet from Christmas food. They are on a mission. And so much can be accomplished by just going back and saying, I don't want to claim I know it all. I know what to do. Tell me. And when you start off that way, when you use this divine GPS, the thing with a GPS is that it maps out the entire route from the beginning, maps out the entire direction from the beginning. So you're not trying to guess your way through each month, through each week, through each season, through each day. There's clarity. He might not give you everything day one. We see in part, we prophesy in part. And the word of God is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. So that means that in this season, there's just, enough light for the step I'm about to take. Enough light for my feet to navigate. And then sometimes you have a light, and this light will shine down the entire street. But it won't shine the entire journey. For example, if you're traveling from here to, I'm in Johannesburg, say I'm going to Cape Town. There is no light strong enough that's going to map the entire route to Cape Town for me to see at once. However, the GPS is able to do that because it's got this Google, because it's got the satellite vision, view, aerial view of my route. It has the beginning to the end mapped out at once. I'm going on the basis of when it says turn left, turn right. But before I take off on that journey, I don't start to punch in on the GPS somewhere along the road. By the way, I'm going to Cape Town. Unless like those people trying to save data, like when we get closer, we'll put the GPS on. And even at that, it's because I know somewhat part of the journey. But the part you don't know, you put that GPS on and you have it download the entire thing, your entire journey and directions from the beginning, but only give you bits and pieces as you need them as you're going. So in summary, this is not going to be a long video because it's a holiday season, and I don't know how merry you are, and if you're too merry to actually pay attention to the entirety of what it is I'm saying. But I want you, as you enter this new decade, to not make another resolution. Don't resolve to lose weight. Don't resolve to go back to school. Don't resolve to be nicer to your children and nicer to your husband and nicer to your neighbors. Don't resolve to do better at work. Don't resolve to stop stealing stationery at work. Don't resolve. Cast a broader vision, a bigger vision, a vision bigger than you, one that will need a village to raise it. And I promise you what happens is, as soon as you see this really big picture, automatically the decisions that need to be made and the attitudes and behaviors and the character that needs to be built become the next automatic thing that you know, because a lot of us don't realize that when we're busy casting resolutions, all those are pieces of a pie. It's not the whole pie. What those are a means to an end. And what I'm trying to encourage you to focus on is what the end in itself is. Like I said, when you have that bigger vision in mind, then automatically you know what you need to do, what you need to eat, how you need to live in order to achieve that. They always say that necessity is the mother of inventions. Now, when you have a sudden pressing need and something needs to be invented, of necessity you'll figure out everything that needs to fit into place. The education you're going to need, the relationships you're going to need, what you need to cut out, what you can't eat. I mean, you go to a doctor and he says, oh, your heart's not doing well, I need you to cut out fatty foods. You don't need a resolution for that. The issue is you want to live. That's the bigger vision. You're trying to live. So to now understand that, okay, in order to live, I must eat right. I must go to gym, get a gym membership. You see, all these, that resolution becomes so easy. My husband always teases me now that I'm having more salads on my plate than starch. He says that God knows how to hold you where it hurts. And he says this in pidgin English. You must know how funny it sounds, but I'm not going to say it. But he says, you know, God knows where to hold you where it hurts, because he's been trying for years to get me to eat healthy. For years he'll tell me, you know, eat this, have some fruit, have some veggies, and I'll look at him like he actually just said a swear word and insulted me. Me, salad, me, green. No, I'd say to him, I'm an African. Give me meat. And I still, luckily my diet is very protein intensive, so I eat meat. But I mean, guys, you should see the amount of veggies I'm wolfing down and actually beginning to enjoy them, which was never. But the thing is, I've got a bigger vision. There's people I want to live for. There's children I want to live for. There's things I want to accomplish and do, and I need this body to be there with me to get it done. So no, I'm not going to start off a resolution saying I'm going to eat like this and I'm going to exercise. So no. I've seen a vision of a slimmer me, of a healthier me, of long life and prosperity, and therefore I know what needs to be done to make that work. So to recap, and I wonder if we've not recapped like 3 times already, this year, as you're entering into a new decade, the decisions you make are going to have an impact for 10 years. I want you to know you're starting off this year, and at the end of the 10 years that this year is ushering in, some of you will be married that were not. Some of you will have children that did not. Some of you would have graduated that had not even entered varsity in this decade. You know, some of you will have grandchildren in this decade. And those are not just events. Those are not just, oh, someone was born, oh, someone got married. No, those are whole destinies formed. Those are nations impacted. These are big, big, big things. We need to stop looking at the things that we do and aspire to do within the context of just me, myself, and I, and be able to see them within a context of the greater picture. You are one piece of a huge puzzle being designed. And if you never come to the picture or to the party, the picture will never ever be completed. So you've got to begin to think of things in that grand scale. Think of those 10 years in that really, really grand scale. You're welcome, sir. So we're not having resolutions. We are downloading the master's vision. and we are going to be able to test that vision against our whole life's purpose. And once we've got that vision, then we're going to download the blueprint, in other words, the intricate details as to the how, which would normally have been your every year resolution. We're going to make it, I try and run away from the SMART acronym. Make it simple, make it measurable, make it achievable, make it realistic, and make it time bound. That's all well and good for corporate speak, and there's nothing wrong with it, but this is why I run away from it. I think that if something is so simplified and achievable, then I need to question if I really downloaded it. Because usually when he speaks of things so big, they're so beyond you that you're just like, where do I start? And that way you know that you need him and you need to lean on him, which brings me to the next point. You don't do this pray and fast once just at the beginning of the year. You've got to do it as a regular lifestyle. You've got to keep checking on that GPS. You know, when the GPS tells you for 12 kilometers, you're going to be traveling along the stretch of road. You kind of chill. You put the music up, you relax, you don't. But there comes a time where the GPS says you're taking a turn off now in the next 1 kilometer. Then you start to be a little more alert. You know that there's going to be a flurry of instructions coming back to back. So you have to refer a bit more frequently than just at the beginning and the tail end of your journey. Every time in the middle, you need to keep on checking. What are you saying? What am I doing? What should I do? Etc. Okay. So 2020 is that year that's going to rock. It's going to be the beginning of the greatest decade of your life. You are going to do and achieve great things that are beyond you because they are beyond you, because they are more than you. And you are going to be so destiny focused and vision focused, and know with each step you take that you're partnering with divinity. That you've got the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit holding your hand through this and telling you this is. And sometimes, it's almost going to be like painting blind. It's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be too big, too wild, too fast. You're going to be like, are you sure? Should I turn left? Are you sure? But I'm familiar with right. And it's going to say, no, go left, trust me. Put your seatbelt on. It's going to be like a roller coaster ride where you're painting this big picture, but you only go a bit at a time, and you don't really know what the bigger thing looks like till you ended it. And when you ended, the exhilaration. I'm wishing you nothing but the best, nothing but God's best for you, everything He had planned to come and fall into your lap in 2020. I'm wishing that we have this conversation at the end of 2030 and you would have done things that you were like, or rather should I say 2029, and you'd be like, when this woman said that this decade was going to be awesome, I had no clue what she was talking about. It was great. It was great. I discovered how great I am. That I'm not small fry. I wasn't made for small things. That I'm the big deal. That I did the things that my family members could never have achieved. That my mother and my father didn't achieve before me, and their parents before them. I laid such a solid foundation for my children. I did well. That's going to be your song at the end of 2029. You did well. You'd have graduated, gotten married, had children, established industry, done big things, moved your bank balance. But more importantly, you would have moved closer to heaven. Because you would not have done those things just because it's what's expected. You would not have done those things just because you were trying to stick out from the average. You would not have done those things just because you were trying to prove a point, or do better just for yourself. You would have done all those things because God wanted to do them, and He chose you as a vessel, and you said yes. You took His hand and you went on this journey, and it was wild, it was crazy, it was fun, and you can't believe you did it, but you did. That's going to be your portion in the next 10 years. If you download your life's purpose, download your vision, and download the intricate details to getting there, in faith, in prayer, in fasting, and in building intimacy with the Lord, and reading the Word regularly, and being completely dependent Like, you brought me this far, I'm not going to try and go by myself. And this is important because you're going to get to some places that you in your small mind will think is the pinnacle. Like, wow. You'll be wowed by where you are, not knowing it's only halfway. God still has further, bigger, brighter for you. So never get comfortable. Keep asking, am I doing right? You know, like I'm asking my husband now, should I turn right? Okay, what next? What should I do? Okay guys, so this was not really scripted. I was just speaking from the heart. It's a very important time of year, and because it's entering a new decade, it's a make or break. It's a huge decade. It's a huge decade for individuals, for families, for nations. It's a huge decade for the church. Sorry, I didn't know I was out of the picture there. So, compliments of the new season, Happy New Year, and God bless you. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. 2020, so lit. It's gonna be content on fleek, content on steroids. Don't be late, don't be missing in action. Don't have people say, oh, have you checked out Life of Interruptions? Did you sign in? Be the one to be saying, I'm in the know, I'm connected. Love you much, love you plenty. God bless you. Bye.